Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Monday, September the 13th. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading, little by little. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Little by little, that's how you make progress. I was reading an article over the weekend. And by the way, the reason there was no Sunday video or Monday morning video, my usual times, is I was at the IndyCar race in Portland, Oregon. So it was an enjoyable race. But anyway, little by little, the article was saying, that's really how you make progress. Every day you improve just a little bit. And it's kind of like compound interest. Um, you know, Little by little, the compounding compounds, and the interest starts to make it. You get interest on the interest on the interest, and that's how you grow an account from a small account to a large account over time. On the other hand, you can have one devastating blow, one loss that if you don't control it, it can just completely and totally wipe you out. You know, yes, there's those lucky times where somebody puts a trade on and the market screams in their favor. But even with FOREX, even with the 100 to 1 leverage, you'd be lucky to double your money. But it's possible for you to lose everything in one trade. So that's why it's so important that you have risk management so you don't lose any more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. Now, I was talking about some simple trades last week, and there were some people, I guess, who, you know, th- some they just don't understand, and that's just the way it is. Some people get it the first time, some people, get it maybe the second or third time. Some people struggle, they finally get it, and then some people just never get it. So, if you ever come across something and you're just not getting it, maybe that something just isn't for you. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So, right now, looking at the pound, we're into the trading day by, let's see, I can't tell how many hours there. We're into the trading day by about 8 hours. But you can see here on my zones dashboard, that's the template. This is just the regular dashboard indicator that I wrote. But you can see here, there's a lot of trade opportunities for shorts and long reversals here. And the pound, as you can see, is in the 40s, which I call the launch pad. And it looks like we've already taken out the pivot point. So once that happened, if I was going to trade tonight, I would definitely be thinking go long the pound in the launch pad. And I'd look for it to get up to the 60 area, just because that's what it seems to do more often than not. I could be wrong. I could wake up and see the pound way down here. You just have to wait and see what happens. But as I mentioned, little by little, you can see here the range of the pound. I mean, for the last, 8 hours, it only broke 10 or more 3 times. Just not having that much range for whatever reason. In fact, yesterday's range was 54 pips. The Friday's was only 58. So far today, we've got 25 pips. So as you can see, there's room to grow. And I mentioned before, trading off the D1, the daily, and then putting and doing the psychological trades, as you can see right here. Well, it didn't quite hit 50, so you shouldn't have gone long. let's see, but on the downside, it hit 25. So if you went short, you would have taken a loss. It's just the way it is some days. Now, Friday, there was room to the downside here, crossing the 25, but on the upside, it only made it by 0.6. So once again, there was a possibility for a loser. And as I mentioned repeatedly, it's not always going to work out each time you do it. One time, same setup, everything looks the same. One time it works, one time it doesn't. And that's why you have to do things little by little when you're trading, because trading is just so different than other things that have recipes or formulas or plans or steps. I mean, most things, you get the book, you get the recipe, you get the plan, and you do step 1, step 2, step 3, and you get the result. Maybe you learn how to do each step a little bit better as time goes on, and you get a little bit better result. But you see, with trading, it's not always like that. Sometimes you can do everything right, and you're still going to wind up hitting your stop loss. And if it does hit your stop loss, you did it right. And that's the part, that's the disconnect most traders have. They equate loss with doing something wrong or failure, when loss is just part of the game. And it's just really hard to wrap our brains around it for most people. It's just really, really hard, because then they'll go looking to see if there's something that they can do better to avoid the loss. And that usually leads them down a rabbit hole, and that's how they can screw up a really simple system. And the next thing you know, they've got a dozen indicators on the chart, and they're looking at, 5 different time frames, etc., etc. It's just kind of a funny thing about the psychology of traders. Now, I might be stepping on some toes that I said that. You might be thinking I'm beating up on you, but I'm not. It's all part of a learning process. I've been through it, but it's really tough to, one, accept the fact that doing everything according to plan doesn't always work out. Two, accepting a loss and just taking it and not doing anything about it. That's really tough to do. So, but if you can get past those two things, you're probably well on your way. Because all it would take is, if you just compound your account by 1 or 2% a day, it runs up pretty quickly. I've put the charts out before. I mean, you used to have the 2% club on Pal Talk back when I had plenty of bandwidth. And, every day we used to go in there, just about every day we go in there, we make a couple of percent on the account. A case in point is our highest low, lowest high trade that Wallball and I like to do. I mean, right here, I'd be just chomping at the bit to go 40, but I've got a bear candle, and that tells me to sit on my hands and wait. But I say I've got this nice big candle here. Price will probably return to this level, and I'm anxious to jump in the trade, but I'm not going to do it, especially now, because we only have about 7 minutes left in the hour here before we get a new hour. So it's just sit on my hands and wait. And then I'm thinking, oh, you see that? But the other thing is, right now it got really crazy spread. 1.2. But this is a secondary account. But still, I have to wait for the ask to get down here to jump in that trade. And so just wait. But on these trades, you can pick off a couple of pips And you can do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times in an hour sometimes, just depending. And you can go short, you can go long. Now you might think, you say, but you're a Yale student if you go short and long. And you'd be right. Yes, you're a Yale student, but we just know based on experience that taking these trades, if you just follow it, more often than not, you can pick up a pip or more. And that's just one of the things you have to learn. Once again, little by little. Because the thing is, if you take a little 1 pip trade and you're out of that trade, you've just added 1 pip to your account, and you've taken away the possibility that that trade could reverse on you and hit your stop. On the other hand, you've also taken away the ability for that trade to go in your direction and make you more money. But usually the market seems to go against more than with. That's just the way it works out sometimes. Most of the times. So it's better just to take the pips when you can. So right here, have the bullish M5 candle, which is screaming a buy. But on the other hand, we're only 4.5 minutes away from the top of the hour. So don't rush in it. And once again, so far, it's like the experience is paying off, not to rush in. And let's see, let's take a look at a couple of the other charts here. And here's the weekly. Okay, we've got one gap that hasn't filled. And the pound dollar gap down slightly. You can see we're only 12 pips above the weekly open. Yesterday put in a nice range here, right on the edge of the monthly range. So we'll look for a range breakout either today or tomorrow. Opening range on the weekly. Right now, 197 pips above the open. We're in the inside bar. Look for these breakouts. 67 on the long side, 18 on the short side. And we are still within that monthly inside bar from last month. Only 2 pairs over 100 in range so far. And they're both pound pairs. But you can see the Australian and the New Zealand. So we're just about ready to, just coming out of that Asian session. Buy zone, we've already taken out the pivot. Rat, not enough room for rat. Weekly pivot, looks like we hit it yesterday. So this is interesting. Monthly pivot we've taken out. Weekly pivot we've taken out. We took out the daily pivot. And then on Friday we took out Thursday's pivot along with Friday's pivot. So right now we have to go back to June. They have a missed pivot on the daily. We're in the upper wick zone of the daily candle on the pound. And as you can see here, we got a new lower high. Price is waffling. Got a 1 ball. We got that 3-1-1 combo. So, fellow traders, little by little, that's how you grow your account. Make sure you don't lose it all in one devastating blow. Just remember, when you sit down at your trading platform, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there, drain the banks, hit the like button. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.